Hey guys, Cody with Princess Craft RV. Come along with me as we go through this vintage cruiser 23 RSS. All right, so let's go on how to get this thing hooked up to your tow vehicle. Starting right up front here, we've got your electric tongue jack up down switch. Pretty self-explanatory there. It's going to ride on a 2 5/16 ball, and once you get your ball backed underneath it, get it lowered down onto the ball, all you got to do is lift up on the slide coupler here and let it slide forward and down, and as long as these larger ears here fall down into the coupler area here, then you should be good and latched. To get it to release, all you have to do is pick up on it and slide back, and that's going to release the ball. A couple other things that have to hook up here. We're going to have our safety tow chains. Now these do have to be crisscrossed under the tongue, and then these are just going to clip onto the receiver hitch. We've also got your safety breakaway cable. Now this needs to be routed by itself, not fished through the chains, and it needs to have its own clip at the receiver hitch that it's hooked onto. You don't want anything obstructing this from actually doing its job. And if you were to actually get separated, tow vehicle and trailer, this is going to yank out of this little box that's mounted on the frame over here and actually get the brakes on the trailer to apply and bring the trailer to a stop. Last thing that we're going to have hooked up to our tow vehicle is going to be our 7-way cord here. It's going to run all your turn signals, running lights, brake lights, and electric brakes on the trailer if your tow vehicle is equipped with a brake control. All right, electric tongue jack operation, up, down. Down's actually going to lower the tongue, up's going to raise the tongue. And then you have a service light switch here on it so you can do things in the dark. Moving just one more thing on that, if for some reason the 12-volt operation fails to operate, you can open up this little rubber plug on the top. There is a crank handle that can go down into this hole here and give you manual crank operation of the tongue jack. Just behind that, we're going to have your two 20-pound propane cylinders. To get into this cover, just loosen these little thumb nuts up here on top and you can flip this open. This is going to give you access to your service valves on top of your propane cylinders, allow you to open and close the propane cylinders as needed. Now you will have to remove this cover for servicing the cylinders, either exchanging them or refilling them, so let me show you how to do that. You're going to have this open. There's a Velcro strap here at the top that you're going to take loose. Once you get that off, all you got to do is lift this cover up and off, and that's going to get us into your propane cylinders. Now to remove the propane cylinders for servicing, you're going to loosen up your wing nut here. Once you get that loose, depending on which cylinder you need to remove, make sure your service valve is closed. Go ahead and disconnect your service line there. You can lift up this crossbar and then you can tip your cylinder and remove it from the trailer. Now you can put this in your vehicle and take it and get it exchanged or refilled, whichever is available or whatever works best for you. Just remember, anytime you are transporting a propane cylinder, it needs to be in the upright position. All right, so putting it back on the trailer is just going to be the opposite. Set it back on the base. Get your crossbar repositioned. Go ahead, snug up your wing nut. Remember, this does not need to be over tight. It is just there to keep these things from falling off. Once you get that snug, go ahead and reattach your service hose here. And then you can reopen that service valve if you need to. If not, go ahead and leave it closed. So this is also equipped with an auto changeover propane regulator. So what that means is that if you have both cylinders open and this is pointed to your primary cylinder, when this primary cylinder goes empty, it's automatically going to start pulling propane from the other cylinder. It's great because you'll have lots of propane, bad because you'll never know when you're getting close to empty. So what we recommend doing is keeping one cylinder open, keeping the other cylinder closed, and using this switching lever manually. So if you're right now, we're on our primary cylinder here. When it goes empty, we're going to close the service valve. We're going to flip that selecting lever over to the other one, open the service valve on that one. Now we can remove this cylinder and go get it refilled or exchanged, whatever works, and then put it back on and go from there. And that pretty much covers that. Once you get done there, all you got to do is put your cover back on. You're going to take your Velcro strap and fish it through this little slot on the top. Just goes through this little slot right here on the back, and then restrap it, and that's going to hold that in place. When you close this cover, don't forget to tighten up these little thumb nuts. If you do not tighten them up, this lid will blow off, so make sure you get that handled. Sitting just behind there in these in this track right here is where your battery will be. You're going to have 2 battery cables that hook up. It's going to be mounted in a battery box. It's going to be a lead acid marine RV deep cycle battery. It does require maintenance. You got to pop the caps, check the water level periodically, and you want to use distilled water when you top it off. This black tube that's underneath where the battery mounts is going to be a short sewer hose storage. To open that up, you just turn this little lever here and then it opens up. And you can fit a short sewer hose in there or something else of your liking. All right, let's move on around the trailer here. This trailer is equipped with 4-corner stabilizers. So we've got a stabilizer jack in each corner. Once you get your trailer leveled side to side, front to back, then you're just going to run these down to the ground. You can either use the supplied crank handle or get a drill attachment for these. Once they get down to the ground though, you're just going to snug them up. They do not need to be tightened. They are not there to lift or level the trailer. Big pass-through storage here at the front with slam latches on these. So they can literally just slam shut, held open with a magnetic catch there. A couple of stickers here at the front of the trailer. Top one there is going to be your tire size and tire pressure. Middle one's going to be some weights, and bottom one is just going to be the rest of the manufacturer's information about your trailer. All right, freshwater fill. So this is going to be for your onboard freshwater tank. Fill it up. All you got to do is put your water hose in, turn it on, fill it up until the water backwashes out at you. That tells you it's full. Easiest way to do it, or you can check the monitor panel inside to check that. And just underneath here, you'll see this little fitting right here. There's going to be a cap or a plug inside that. To drain your freshwater tank, you would just pull the plug out and that would drain it. All right, moving on back to our dump station. Two levers down here. One's going to be black tank, one's going to be gray tank, or one's going to be solid waste and one's going to be liquid waste. So the forward valve here is going to be for our wastewater or our gray water, which is going to be sink and shower. The rear valve here is going to be our sewage or our black tank, which is going to be our toilet. So basically all you got to do is take the cap off, put your sewer hose on with the bayonet fitting. We're going to start by dumping the black tank. We're going to follow it up with the gray tank. So once the black tank is completely empty, we can close that valve and then open the gray tank and allow it to wash our hose out. One benefit that this trailer does have is going to be the black tank flush, which is right here. This is going to help get your black tank cleaner, help make sure we get all your solids out. So after you're all completely done dumping, you can open up the black valve with your sewer hose still connected into the dump, hook a designated black water or gray water hose up to this fitting, run it over to the hose bib, turn it on and let the water just run through it for about 5 to 10 minutes. That's going to really help wash any kind of stuff out of the black tank. All right, this cover right here is going to be for our refrigerator. So this is a lower vent. So in here, just a couple of things to show you. 110 outlet for the cord is over here in the corner. And we also have a manual shutoff valve, little turn dial right there for doing a manual shutoff on the gas valve. If for some reason this will get stuck electronically, you can turn that and it'll stop the gas from flowing through the refrigerator. And so you don't have to shut off the gas to the whole trailer. Other than that, inspecting for bug nests, things like that in here would be about all you need to do. Now this little drain line does just fit through one of these slots on here. doesn't have a specific spot. It's just gonna go through there. It is normal to see condensation drip from that line on occasion. All right, so once you get this cover put back on, make sure you don't forget to latch these or lock them into place. So this is unlocked, and that's gonna be locked. You wanna make sure you get both of them locked. That way that cover stays in place as you travel down the road. All right, that's gonna bring us to our 30 amp 110 service connection. It's gonna have 3 prongs on the cord. One of them's kind of an L shape. Trailer side's gonna have the corresponding. All you gotta do is fit those 2 L shapes together. Give that little bit of a twist to the right, and then use that plastic lock ring to really snug that cord up. You wanna make sure you have a good tight connection there so you don't have any arcing or overheating issues. All right, attention driver, check wheel lugs before moving this vehicle. It is recommended that you check your wheel lug nut torque specs prior to each trip. All you got to do is pop the baby moon covers off, and you're going to use a torque wrench to torque those. We typically torque everything to 100 foot-pounds to make sure everything is good and tight and ready to go. Also a good time to check your tire pressures and make sure they're good for the trip. Maintain that stuff, it'll treat you well in the long run. We've got a slide on this unit. A couple things for slide maintenance on this real quick. It's got a Schwintek slide system on it. So we've got a track upper and lower. Does need to be lubed periodically, so making sure it's clean of any heavy debris, using a nice good lube with some Teflon in it to make sure everything keeps tracking well will help keep this slide operating optimally. Also has a rubber seal or a rubber gasket, if you will, that goes all the way around the slide. And that also needs to be maintained with some slide lube. So they make a rubber gasket slide lube that will keep this nice and pliable. It's kind of like tire shine. You just spray it on there, let it go, you're good to go. All right, so we've got a couple of auxiliary jacks back here. Coax inputs. One's going to be for satellite, one's going to be for cable. So top one's for cable, bottom one is for satellite. I'll show you the corresponding connections for those on the inside. It's going to bring us to our 6-gallon gas electric water heater. A couple things on this. Drain plug right here, dead center in the middle at the bottom. That's also an anode rod, which will need to be replaced periodically depending on how long it's in water and how much junk is in your water. We've got a little electric switch over here in the bottom left-hand corner. That's going to be for part of the 110 operation for the heating. It's a good idea to pop this thing open, check for insects inside the burn chamber here, make sure nothing's building nests that could affect the operation of the gas side of this. Make sure you always have water in a water heater before you fire it up on gas or electric. You don't want to burn anything out or anything like that. Good easy way to check is going to be your pop-off valve here at the top. All you have to do is open up the little lever here, and if water comes out, then you've got water in your water heater. If you do not have water coming out and it's just air pressure, give it more time until you get all the air out of the system and get water in it. So to close this thing, you're just going to flip that little D-loop straight up, line it up with the slot here, give it a little pull. It's got a spring on it, twist it and flip it down. That's going to get you latched and ready for the road. All right guys, so right here, kind of underneath the slide behind the axles, you're going to find these 2 water lines right here with plugs in them. Those are going to be your hot and cold low point water drains. If you're getting this thing ready for storage or winterization, you're going to want to drain those out. That helps get all the water out of the system. City water connection. So if you're going to be camping in a park or getting things ready to go at your house, you hook up with a water hose and a water pressure regulator and hook up right here. All you got to do is thread it onto that. This will rotate so you can get it nice and snug onto your water hose and you'll be good to go. You do have an exterior spray port here. It's going to be a quick connect hose that you get. Just push that collar back. On the other end, it'll be another fitting that you just push into that, release the collar, and it locks on. And it's kind of like an outside shower. It's going to have a spray handle on it. All right, moving on to the back of the trailer. License plate's going to mount up right here. You'll have your temporary tag on it from here, but you'll get your hard metal plate, and it's going to mount up there. Got a light on it to keep you legal. We already prepped on this unit for a backup camera or a rear observation camera. That's pretty much it on the rear. Let's move over here onto the door side of the trailer. Entry steps here, very easy operation. All you've got to do is fold the bottom step onto the top step. Put your hand underneath the top step once you get it folded up and just kind of lift up, push in, and that's going to latch it in for travel. To pull it back out for use, just put your hand under it. You're going to pick up on the front, pull it straight out, and then just flip the bottom step down. All right, exterior 110 outlet. We also have a cable antenna output here, right here, output right here. So you can bring your TV out here and hang it. It can hang right there on the mount, and everything would kind of be designed to hook up right here. So you can kind of bring your entertainment center outside. In between that, we are going to have your furnace with the exhaust right here. Anytime you're running your furnace, it burns propane gas to heat. So you're going to have hot exhaust coming out of here. So don't burn yourself, don't cover it, and don't get burned by it. Overhead, we do have a vent. This is going to be for your cooktop vent hood, basically. So anytime you're going to be using that, you just want to pop this open. All you got to do is put your fingers in here, pop it out. And that's going to actually allow all that cooking smoke and stuff to come out of the trailer instead of staying inside. Just remember to push that back shut whenever you get ready to travel so that flap stays put. Outdoor speakers, got some accent lighting in them. Your awning's got an LED light on it. I'll show you how to operate all that from the inside. The other side of our big pass-through storage, a couple of switches in here. One of them is going to be for these two little lights right here on the front. There's one here and one on the other side, kind of give you some working light if it's dark outside. The other one's going to be for this big LED strip that runs across this cabinet, or I'm sorry, this storage compartment here. Runs the full length of the storage compartment in there. Again, this is equipped with a slam latch that is lockable. Last thing here is you've got a Zamp portable solar plug here on the side. All this is going to do is allow you to plug in a portable solar panel, which then allows your 12-volt battery to be recharged by the sun. It's great for dry camping or storage purposes if you have availability of having it out in the sun. All right, guys, coming in the door entry here, just up top, this is going to kind of be your entertainment area. It's where you can mount your TV. We've got a 110 outlet, RCA jacks for hooking up audio and video. And then we've got your booster plate here that's got a couple of operations to it. This bottom one here is for TV. You see this little button right here that turns that green light on and off. When you're hooked up, if you're going to use park cable, you just have to push that button. That's going to turn that off and then allow a cable signal to pass through it. If you're going to actually use a satellite hooked up to the exterior, the input here is going to come in here that's going to run to your satellite receiver, and then it would be like an HDMI generally on today's receivers to the TV. So this mount can actually be removed from this spot. You just pick up on it. It's kind of like a little V channel that sits into here, and you can remove that and move that to the exterior of the trailer as well. Just remember that it does need to be kind of popped in there for storage, so your TV's not bouncing around if you've got one. All right, below that, we've got a bunch of switches. So this is going to be your monitor panel here. You can see it says battery, fresh, black, and gray. So these three are going to be your tanks: fresh tank, black tank, gray tank, and then battery status there. All you got to do is push the button, see what light corresponds, and that will tell you when the tank is full. We've got our gas, it says gas heater here, so that's going to be for the gas side of the water heater. All you're going to do is flip that switch on. You're going to see this little fault light come on. It's going to go off when everything goes into normal operation. If it comes back on, that means that it didn't light for some reason. You just generally going to be air in the line. And you just kind of cycle the switch a couple times between ignition cycles. Bottom one's going to be the water pump. So if you're going to be dry camping or you're going to be using the water on the side of the road or in a parking lot or something, you got fresh water in the freshwater tank, you'll just flip that on. Water pump's going to come on, pressurize your water system. Now we've got a whole bunch of lights right here. Step lights, so that's going to be for the entry step. There's a little light underneath, so you're not trying to find the steps in the dark. Awning lights is going to be the big LED strip that runs on the awning outside. Main light's going to be our main cabin light, and it's going to run all the lights down the middle of the trailer except for the one in the bedroom. And then we've got our slide switch here. So this is going to be for the slide in. All you're going to do is push and hold all the way until the slide comes in. If you're going to be running it out, push and hold until the slide goes all the way out. They will stop on its own when it hits full travel. Being the system that it is, we recommend that you run the slide full travel every time you operate it. That helps keep it in time. The other one's going to be for our electric awning. Retract and extend. If you want to extend it away from the trailer, just push extend until it goes all the way out. If you're going to want to retract it for when you get ready to leave, or it's windy, push it until it rolls all the way in. We've also got your fire extinguisher down here. Biggest thing on that's going to be this little green button on top. Just push that in, make sure it pops back up, tells us that we've got pressure in the system. All right, over your head, just coming in the entry door, is going to be your smoke alarm, 9-volt operated. So test it, make sure it beeps, and replace the 9-volt battery as needed. Your two little lights back here on the back, as well as the one underneath, are controlled with the little push buttons on them. Couple storage cabinets up here. Got your drive radio in here that's going to be Bluetooth. It's got a USB auxiliary input as well as a headphone output. It does everything that you need to do. It's going to play DVDs, all that good stuff that can be played over to your TV that mounts up over here. All of your windows in this unit are going to be sliding type. So in order to open them, you just pull out on this little middle latch right here. And then you're just going to slide the window. Very, very easy to operate, to use there for that. All your curtains are just Velcroed back, and then they just slide shut like a curtain. All right, right now our dinette area is made into our alternate bed. Let me show you how all that kind of works. Once you get your cushions up and out of the way, you'll see that your tabletop is down here, and it Velcros down. But it is just a standard style card table on the bottom with folding legs. So to stand it up, just extend these all the way out. Make sure you get your hinges latched in well, and it'll stand up. It does need to be stored down into the bed position for travel. Otherwise, this thing's going to bounce around back here. We do have storage underneath our dinette benches. Got some good sized storage on this side. Now this side over here is actually going to give us access to our water heater. So there's a small storage on the back. And this one here says not a storage compartment. Okay. The reason is because it's going to be access for slide controller, water heater, some other electrical things going on in there. So these two valves right here that are on the water heater are going to be your bypass valves. So the position they're in right now actually allows the water to bypass the water heater. So it just comes in and it makes a big loop. When these are turned and they face the water heater, like that, the water is actually going to come in and go through the water heater in that manner. So that's part of your winterization or storage stuff. Primarily winterization, you're going to want to bypass the water heater when you pump your antifreeze into the system. There is no point in pumping 6 gallons of antifreeze into the water heater. And there's your dinette all set up there. All right, moving into our little slide out over here. We've got a couple of cabinets up in here, and we've got a couch plus another sleeping area. So this is a jackknife couch. So all you've got to do is pick up on the bottom and just keep picking up until it basically lays flat. It's going to kind of do it all on its own. It's not difficult. It's not a lot of work. To store it back to the couch, all you're going to do is pick up on the bottom again. And when you get to a certain point, it's going to kind of stop. You want to kind of push down and towards the wall, and it's going to flip right back up into a couch. All right, moving over to the wall right here next to the refrigerator, we're going to have our furnace thermostat. It's going to have 2 levers. On the top is going to be your on-off. It's kind of hard to see, but it does say off and has a little arrow pointing this way. These switches are known to be very difficult, and they make a very good click though. So if you want to turn it off, you should have a good click, and it should be all the way over against this plastic housing. When it's on, it's pretty much straight up and down, and it's away from the plastic housing. And then the bottom is going to be our temperature setting. And then you've got your room readout there. All right, down here is going to be our LPCO alarm. This is right kind of below the furnace thermostat. And it's just going to make a bunch of noise if you do get a LP gas leak or get some CO detected in the unit. Usually means clear out, get out of here, turn your gas off, and do some investigative work. All right, overhead we've got our Dometic air conditioner. It's got a bunch of different flat variations on it for air output. You've got a main air blast right here that's straight down that can be closed with this lever right here. We've got air outputs on both sides, at both ends, and also both sides here. So you can kind of choose and play with this and get air output wherever you need it most. While I'm up here, let's talk about your ceiling lights. They do have a main switch down the center for controlling all these, but you can control them individually with a little push button in the middle. All right, moving into our kitchen. Up in our storage compartment here, this is going to be your outside shower hose that we talked about. This cord right here is actually going to be for your microwave. That's your 110 dedicated outlet for your microwave. It's a great storage space, so just when you're putting stuff in here, play caution that you don't knock that out and unplug it and maybe create a problem for yourself on that. Underneath here, we've got a switch that's going to control your soffit lighting up here, and we've got a USB charger underneath there as well. Sink with a sink cover here to give you some more countertop space. Going to double as a cutting board. Very, very simple. This is just like home. Rotate your spout where you want it. Hot on the left, cold on the right. Mix it up however you want it. Just remember you've only got 6 gallons of hot water anytime you're using hot water. So I think I may have forgotten the one switch over here that says accent lighting on it. That's going to be this blue accent light that's right here underneath your kitchen sink. So it's over here on the main switch panel. A couple storage drawers here, big storage compartment here. That's going to bring us over to our microwave. It's going to be a standard turntable style microwave. Put your stuff in it, set your time. It rotates, it does its cooking thing, and you're good to go. Vent hood, got a light on it plus fan. Remember, if you're using the fan, make sure you have the vent flap open on the outside of the trailer. That's going to bring us down to our 3-burner cooktop with a glass cover. To get this thing opened up, so you're going to actually pick the front section up and flip it over the rear section, and then grab the rear section and flip it the rest of the way, and it's just going to sit back there like that. Now when you get ready to light this, you're just going to turn the knob to the corresponding burner, and you're going to push and hold the button in. Okay, hold it in, and then you're going to rotate your striker over here until you get your burner lit. Once your burner is lit, continue to hold that in for about another 5 seconds, and then adjust your flame between high and low, do your cooking. Since this does have a glass cooktop, we do recommend that you let your burners cool completely before you close the glass cooktop down on them so you don't cause any damage. Now when you get ready to close it, all you have to do is tip it forward, and then you're going to grab the front section. Now the front section has these little rubber ramps on each side, so if you just set it there, it's actually not closed all the way. You do want to push down on it slightly, and that's actually going to get those rubbers to sit all the way down in there and actually stay in place. Have a little blue or little button right here next to all the knobs. That's going to be some accent lighting for you on the knobs. All right guys, so that's going to bring us down to our oven. To get that to light, you're going to turn the knob to the flame there. Push and hold again. You're going to use your same striker that you would use for the cooktop. It's got a striker back there at your pilot. Let your pilot flame get established before you let off, and then set your temperature, do your baking, and move on. This right down here is going to be our heater fresh air return. So make sure anytime in the winter you're running the heater that you do not have that blocked off. You do want to make sure you're getting plenty of air to your heater. All right guys, that's going to bring us to our Dometic refrigerator. So to get these doors to open, when you grab that handle, it's going to naturally kind of rotate, and that's going to allow you to open up your doors here. Now all the controls for this one are going to be up here in the top. It's got 2 buttons. It's a two-way refrigerator. It's either going to be 110 electric or LP gas. On-off button, you're going to get a little bit of a beep, and you're also going to get the light inside the refrigerator to turn on. That's going to tell you that the unit is turned on. Now the other button that you've got over here is to switch between auto mode or only LP gas mode. If you leave it in auto mode, it's going to automatically switch between 110 and LP gas, whatever is most reliable. For example, if you're at a campground, you're plugged into 110, the power goes down, it's going to automatically switch over to LP gas, keep cooling your refrigerator, as long as you have good 12 volt and you have plenty of LP gas. Now, once the power is restored, it's going to automatically switch back. If you run it with the button out and the auto light is off, it's LP gas only. That's the only way it's going to operate. These refrigerators do take about 12 to 24 hours to completely cool. All right, we do have a storage drawer right here below it, and below that we've got your WFCO power distribution panel. Got all your 110 breakers here on the left. They are labeled, and we've got your 12 volt fuses, which are also labeled. Looks like most of these are 15 amps, and we've got some 40s and a 2 amp down here. It's a good idea to keep some spares on hand. These are typical blade type fuses. You can get them just about anywhere. That's going to bring us kind of to our hallway slash bathroom here. As you're coming back to the bedroom on the left, we're going to have your shower with a shower curtain that just stays in a track here. Hot cold mixing, and then you have flow control on your spray head here, so you can control how much water you're using. To use the shower door, all you have to do is slide it shut. Once it gets all the way over, it's going to be held closed with a magnet. To get some privacy in here, you can actually use the bathroom door. All you have to do is open it all the way back to the wall, and then you'll use this latch right up here, and that'll keep it somebody from the backside of the trailer pushing through to come in and give you some privacy. Which will then bring us into our bathroom here. We've got a Thetford foot flush toilet here. So the way this works on the foot flush is halfway down on the pedal is going to put water just in the bowl. All the way down is going to actually open up the blade and allow everything in the toilet to go down. You do want to make sure you've got plenty of water in the bowl whenever you go to use it. Remember to be using RV toilet tissue, and also be using a black tank treatment to control waste management and odors. There's a GFCI outlet right here next to the sink. It's going to have a test reset button on it. It's just like a GFCI in your home. If it's tripped, chances are something you plugged into it or an outlet controlled by it. Reset it and keep going. Faucet, hot cold mix there. Got a medicine cabinet. And underneath is going to be just some storage for you. Your vent fan overhead is a 3-speed setting. All you've got to do is open it up here and then choose your speed setting. And then it also is reversible, so you can choose whether you want your air in or out. This right here is going to be a fuse, so if for some reason this is not working, you just turn this and drop the fuse out and inspect it. There is a light switch right here inside the door to operate your overhead light. All right, that's going to bring us back into the bedroom here. All of our stuff in here, you do have a privacy curtain that runs on this little track. I do recommend pulling it from the top up here. These little rollers can kind of get snagged. You don't want to break them or anything like that. Whenever you've got it pulled back away for storage, this strap right here is just going to wrap around it and Velcro like that. Storage on each side. We've got a little USB charger down here. Your reading lights are kind of 2-stage. If you just short press them, you're going to get kind of a blue accent light. If you long press, you're going to get a clear light there for you. Storage everywhere for you. So yeah, two USB chargers over here down on the face of the cabinet. And then you do have underbed storage in here. Pretty good storage space. This is going to be your fresh water tank. So if you're hauling fresh water, that's where it's going to go. Underneath your carpet insert here is going to be your spare tire. So that's where your spare tire stores. And last but not least is going to be this area here. It's another place where you can relocate your TV, hook up to your rooftop antenna. Got some 110 power for you there. Do have a vent over the bed here. Just a standard vent with no fan. Very easy to use. Just crank it up, crank it down. All right, guys, that should cover our vintage 23 RSS. But if I have missed anything, don't hesitate to give us a call. And again, this is Cody with Princess Craft RV.